Time for the business news. Nona Peltier joins me in the studio. Nona, Auckland Airport is laying off more staff. Obviously, all aviation industries have had a rough ride over COVID. So what's the deal? How many jobs?
Okay, so they laid off 180. We knew about that. So we've added another 34 positions. But however, they are going to employ some additional people for new roles. So there's going to be an extra 9. So overall, it's a net 25 extra jobs gone. The company has tallied up the cost of all these one-time expenses, which is not just redundancies, but rent freezes and other kinds of one-off costs. So they're expecting that to cost between $50 and $90 million of one-time expenses. It's quite a lot. But they say, look, their international operation is basically 5% of what it was. They've had a drop in every airline, and they're saying the number of flights each day is down 80%. So it's really not the airport it used to be, obviously. And it's going to take some time before that bounces back, as we've just heard in the news.
Any mention of the bubble, the Trans-Tasman bubble? Because obviously, if they've got so few international flights, they're hanging out for that bubble.
Oh, they are. In fact, they I think it was the chief executive who headed up the committee that was pulling together the plan. And I know that we talked to him previously where he was very anxious, but that was a while back. And I think people have stopped talking about the bubble as much.
Yeah, interesting with what's going on with Melbourne.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to the banking sector. This is interesting. 25 ASB bank branches will go to part-time operations only. What does that mean? And some of them are closing too, aren't they?
Yeah, so another 9 are going to close altogether. Well, look, I went through this now. Some of the branches they're closing get 900 customers a year.
Oh.
It's like, 3 a day or something like that. Exactly, 900 customers. So those ones are closing because there's not enough customer interest to even keep them open. Others are going to part-time, so they'll be open 3 days a week. The hours will be 9 to 4:30. But they said that since the lockdown, there's been a big increase in the number of their customers wanting to use digital services or phone services. An extra 13,500 customers who previously had never used digital banking are now using it. And it's just with the ASB Bank. And not only that, but, already, so in the last 5 years, they say that they had seen a 42% drop in the number of people going into the branch, and at the same time an 85% of their customers are digital customers now. So that's where the shift has gone. But interestingly, they're not going to make any staff positions redundant. All those people will be redeployed to other jobs, still banking jobs, but just now digital or on the phone or what have you.
So necessity obviously meant a bunch of people had the push to get online with their banking services. Do we know the part-time operations, are they mainly in small towns?
Well, I'll tell you what, the ones that they're closing are going to be 9. There's 5 in Auckland, 1 each in Hamilton, Christchurch, Mosgiel, and Papamoa.
Okay.
And so it doesn't actually say where the rest would be. But I'm sure if you go online or you call, if you are an ASB customer, I'm sure they'll happily tell you if your branch will be open or not. One of those visits that you do when
I'm sure people will let us know. 2101 on the text if you know.
Absolutely so.
And the markets, what's been happening today?
Okay, so we fell 0.9%. That's a 100-point drop to 11,350. So we're still pretty strong. The dollar is steady, 64.4 US cents and 93.5 Australian, 52.1 British pence. But, the whole market is really a little not sure with these numbers, these pandemic numbers rising still. That's sort of making people wonder whether or not the economic revival that we're expecting to see is that actually going to materialize.
Thanks, Nona. That's Nona Peltier with our business news.